Hi, my name is JC Aruzin, and I am the founder and lead instructor at SDF Academy. And how did I start a hedge fund? Well, the story began in February 2018. At the time, I was about 2 years into the crypto space, and I was in the midst of losing a lot of money as the bear market was growing from January 2018 as the market started to collapse. And people essentially were sort of becoming fearful of what was happening in the crypto space. I remember one morning I was at the gym and my wife was she was saying to me, "Hey, I was on YouTube this morning and there was some guy talking about this thing called master nodes." And I was like, what is that?" And she was like, "Oh, it's some sort of way to create passive income using cryptocurrencies." And that's all she had to say. Because at the time, I was not a very good trader, and I didn't. I didn't know what else to do with crypto. I mean, I just had the tokens sitting there, and they were losing value every day. I didn't want to sell them because I was a long-term believer of the space. So I I go on YouTube and I started researching what are masternodes, and I learned about proof of stake algorithm and how you can be incentivized for staking tokens in a node collateralized by a specific amount of tokens. And I was like, man, this is fantastic. And the APYs, the annual percentage yields at the time were sitting somewhere around 300-400%. And I was thinking out loud, I was like, wow, if any of this is true and is scalable, this is great. So I took a couple $1,000s and I started to build nodes. And sure enough, it was generating a couple of $100s a day. And it was just cranking out this money. And I was hooked. I was hooked. And at the time, a friend of mine phones me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing with your crypto tokens? I mean, the market is pretty bad, and I know a little bit about crypto, but I don't know, what's the play, what's the next play." And I bring him over to the house, and I start to just show him what I was working on, and he was just blown away. He was like, "Wow, this is unreal." And I had just left Bank of America about 6 months earlier, and back in September 2017. And he was like, "Well, you have an experience in banking, and what if I get you $1 million and we raise $1 million and you put this to work with this type of yields, and we can just give a conservative, 20%." At the time, it was 60 actually, and we can get a conservative 60%. And I was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, these notes are generating 400% APY. I mean, little did I know that that wasn't unsustainable. I mean, I knew it was an unsustainable. I just didn't know how fast it will all fall apart." And I was like, "All right, well, yeah, man, we these things are generating 400% APY. I didn't think about the volatility of the asset and all these things that come into play later on." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we put together a hedge fund, and man, lo and behold, we started to raise money from just close friends and family. We weren't allowed to solicit any strangers. We were 502 or 506 reg D, something along those lines. I mean, it was this many years ago. So we filed with the SEC just for a license to essentially collect money from close friends and family, and then we hire an SEC attorney, and we put together essentially what became to be nodemats.net. And we raised a bunch of money, close to $1 million, and we started to build nodemats, and it was unbelievable. The APYs that it was cranking out, we were paying our investors 60 plus percent. I think over the span of the hedge fund, we ended up paying around 36% up until the last bear market. But people, some of our investors literally earned over 400% APY because we were paying the payments in Bitcoin. So we would take the money, we would invest it into altcoins, and then those altcoins would generate more altcoins. We would sell those for cash and swap them for Bitcoin, and then we would give our investors Bitcoin back for their investment. And that was such a unique business model. It didn't exist in 2018. So we were one of the first legitimate, quote unquote, because there was no regulations around it, hedge fund that generated passive income from altcoins. And it was such a fun experience. I've learned so much doing that. We finally sunset deposits in 2020. We stopped taking in new money, and during that last bull market, we pretty much said this will be it for us, and we were going to sunset the hedge fund in 2023. And it was such a fun, 5-year experience learning about, just the space, the evolution of the space. We saw the master nodes come and go, and then we pivoted into decentralized finance, and we were one of the early adopters of Uniswap, Pancake Swap, and all these, AMM protocols that exist now. It was such a great learning experience, and a lot of what came from course two for SDF Academy came from the lessons that were learned building that hedge fund from 2018 to 2023.